What is going on, legendary humans? Ryan Magic here, and in this video, I'm going to be helping you understand how to smash through procrastination, analysis paralysis, and perfectionism, stopping you getting your shit done. Now, if you're new to this channel, click the subscribe button so that you can check out my future videos. We can keep in this relationship of growing you to being the best version of yourself and living your best life. Now, let's get into the video for today. I'm going to drop some big concepts here, just a pre-frame, that's going to have you understand the way that your mind works. And by understanding the way that your mind works, that awareness is going to give you the power to not fall into the trap of what automatically happens. Because I know that, because I've been in this before I knew this, I was also regularly in analysis paralysis, stuck, confused, not sure why though, and it just kept happening. Why do I always procrastinate? Why am I always overthinking things? This is why. Let's do it. I want you to understand that there are two, I'm going to say lenses, perspectives, or parts of you that can be the dominant part in making decisions and choosing the actions that you do. It can either come from your intellect, or it can come from your intuition. Now, before anyone watching this video gets their knickers in a knot and goes, intuition, that's so fluffy. Steve Jobs, at his most famous speech that he ever did, says, always trust your heart and intuition because it somehow already knows who you truly want to become. Most of the most successful people in the world talk about intuition, but it's just something that we mock what we don't understand. And I understand intuition. I used to think it was a bunch of bullcrap. If I had staff in my business in the past meditate, I'd just be like, what are you doing, mate? You're wasting time, get back to it. I didn't understand this stuff. And as a result, I was less powerful in my ability to take action and make decisions because I was only operating in one small component of the way that my mind works. So let's lay this down right now. I want you to understand this is going to make you instantly realize why you struggle with overthinking. First and foremost, the intellect's prime motive is to control. It's to be in control. Okay? Just really important we understand this. The prime motive is for the intellect is to be in control because the intellect's job is to keep the human body safe. That's its prime motive. It's control. It's very important to understand this. Now, intuition's prime motive is growth. Okay? It's growth, but for fulfillment. Growth for fulfillment. Now, I want you to understand something. We have a nervous system in our body. Our nervous system's prime motive is safety because we as a species are an animal. Even though we live in these cities and homes and houses, we have computers, we go to school. It's not Finding Nemo. They don't do that in the wild, right? But we are wild animals in terms of biologically. So our nervous system's prime motive is to keep us safe. Now, the intellect's job, and it's really cool because in Vedic wisdom, Vedic is a series, it's a lineage of wisdom that comes from ancient India, the oldest known wisdom on the planet from like a written scripture perspective. And one of the ideas on the intellect is that it's known as the historian, meaning that its job, what it can do is only look backwards. Now, this is going to make sense as to why that's important in a second, but let's just write this down. So it is past focused. This is going to make sense soon. Hang in with me. The intuition is present focused. Okay? So the intellect needs to be in control. It looks backwards and it's always trying to figure things out, be in control. Someone that is skeptical by nature, think of a friend that's always questioning things and skeptical, they've got a really strong intellect. And what it's trying to do, think of someone that's skeptical. Think of someone that's like, but I don't understand that. What's the science behind this? Think of that person. How confident are they in life? How safe do you think they feel? They're constantly feeling unsafe because they're losing control. They're always looking for more control because they're very intellect driven. That's why the skepticism's there, because they need to be in control and understand things and figure it out and know why to feel safe. This is what's ruling your procrastination at the moment. I'm going to explain why and how more in a little bit more greater depth, and then I'm going to tell you what you need to do next. So it's past focused. It is fear-based. Fear-based. It's fear-based. Because its job is to look backward and go, what happened in the past that was unsafe? We don't want to go near there. But because it's so control-focused, it kind of like, and our mind as a processing organism is processing so much information, it doesn't have the bandwidth to be able to be very precise and exact on what's actually happened in the past. So it either deletes, distorts, or generalizes information. So you might just block memories out from the past, or like right now, my eyes are consciously in every moment taking in 50 bits of information visually. Unconsciously, and what I'm not aware of, a million bits of information. So information's always flying in. That's just one sense. So also, there's the same version from a sound perspective, a smell perspective. But there's so much information flooding in, so we're always deleting, distorting, or generalizing information. The intellect then, whenever anything in the past feels unsafe, it just goes, whoa, avoid anything like that. It's already distorted, generalized it. That's why you might get rejected by a girl, and then you're scared to talk to girls. It's not because your mind's not saying, you actually said this particular thing for a girl that wasn't that interested in you, and she said this, and it showed that she wasn't that interested. You're just like, girl, scary, go away. It's like, because it's generalized bad, that's bad. And so intellect is fear-based. It doesn't care whether it's functional, it's gonna make you be more fulfillment, have more fulfillment. It's just like, stay away from all this shit. So your intellect is trying to keep you safe. It's looking backwards at references of the past, and it's constantly overthinking to stay in control, to have you avoid danger, right? Now, that's helpful if we're in the wild and it's like, okay, you're an animal, you see like a fluffy tuft of grass that's like dried out and it looks like a lion's mane. It's like, whoa, and you just start running in the other direction. That's helpful then, because if it was a lion, you're dead. So it's worth making the mistake and just running in the opposite direction. It's not worth being overanalyzed and striving for control 24/7 in this life. But should I do the essay? Should I even be in uni? What's going on? What business should I do? What if it's not right? What are people going to think? Because this is all past fear-based, control-based intellect. And this is what rules this. It's what rules your perfectionism, and it's what rules the procrastination. Because when your goal is safety, the best thing to do often is to do nothing, to freeze. Because going out and trying something new, which is the big key I'm about to drop here, the purpose of intuition is growth. How do you grow? You grow by doing something you've never done before. That's the way that you grow. It's like when you lift weight you've never lifted before, your muscle tears and it grows. It's a new experience. Now the problem is when the intellect, there's direct conflict between the intuition and the intellect, because the intuition is constantly looking to do things that are unknown and new. Like when you do a uni assignment that you haven't done before, your intellect's like, I don't know this, I'm not sure, I'm gonna overthink, I'm losing control, I'm feeling unsafe, this is new. Your intuition wants new. It wants to do things you've never done before. Everyone's got desires in their head that are planted. This is my philosophy, understanding of spirituality. We're given dreams and desires. It's like a carrot being dangled over our head, and to try to pull us into the unknown. Like if you have a dream of starting a business, what's it gonna do? It's gonna force you to do a bunch of things you've never done before. Why? Because it wants you to grow. Intuition is growth-based. It's in direct conflict with the intellect that only wants to do things that it knows 100% sure is gonna keep me safe. So when you're doing a uni assignment or trying to think of new business ideas or anything that requires growth and change and moving forward and evolution and success, it's always going to come from doing things that you haven't done before, right? That's going to completely freak your intellect out and put you into analysis paralysis, get you trying to be perfect just to make sure it's all controlled and it's going to keep you safe, and going to have you just stall and freeze and get into procrastination because your intellect constantly looking for that. So this is very head-based. It's head-based. Let's look at the opposites here. Intuition is present-focused because it's concerned with, okay, what do I need to do next to move into the unknown? I want to grow. What do I need to do next? I need to put my website up. Cool, do it. That's great. It's going to lead me to growth. It's present-focused. What do I need to do now? It doesn't care about the past. It's only concerned with what needs to be done next, what's relevant next. What do I have to do now? So you could say kind of like present on the edge of future-based. The intellect is very, very freaked out for anything unknown. So it's past or future-based, but it's more like always looking backwards because it's got like all your wounding. Like if you got rejected with something or something failed, it's just like, that doesn't work. Generalize that, stay away from that danger. I lost control. If I lost control, something's unfamiliar, I'm unsafe, I ain't gonna do that. Okay, present focused. But the cool thing about intuition is it's love-based and it's heart-based. Essentially, it wants freedom. It wants fulfillment. And these are both parts of us. So what the hell do we do here then? Thanks for explaining a bunch of this theory behind intellect and intuition, two things that I hadn't really thought about before. How the hell is this going to help me with this? Well, first and foremost, we can establish the skeptic. How often do you see a skeptic living a fulfilled life? Like, let's be honest here. Because that's the exaggeration of the intellect, personified as the whole person's identity. That's like the perfect way to see the downside of having a really strong intellect. If you see a real skeptical person, yeah, they might be able to prove something, but are they living an expansive life? Let's just generalize here. Some entrepreneurs, they don't even know what they're talking about. They're just making up crap. And they're just like, stuff it, let's start this. And then their parents are like, well, have you thought about this? And they're like, no, who cares? And they're wrong. They're gonna go through damage, but they create something eventually. And they're living a more empowered life. The skeptical might be right sometimes, but would you rather be right or living an awesome life? The skeptical person is living an unfulfilled life. They're constantly trapped with procrastination, constantly searching for answers and control, constantly over-analyzing things, and constantly trying to make things perfect because they need it to be controlled to feel safe. So we want to be more over here. How the hell do we do that? Well, let me show you. I want you to understand right now, you can either be intellect or intuition dominant with your decision-making and behavior. Okay? I want you to understand that. So if we just think first and foremost, what is on the throne of my decision-making? That's a throne, by the way. So what is on the throne of my decision-making? Is the intellect deciding the decisions that I'm making, or is my intuition? Now, this is the problem. Most of the time, this is the dynamic that's existing. That's a crown. I'm just going to do it quickly. So this is the intellect, and this is the intuition. This is a dynamic that's usually playing out with people. The intellect has become the ruler sitting on the throne of the decision making. In other words, we have a dictator on our hands. A dictator is fear-based. A dictator is trying to control everything, right? It's like when someone runs a dictatorship, they're trying to control the masses. They've created a dictatorship. Over here, we have the servant. It's come to deliver some delicious food to the dictator, the king or the queen. You can make it either. Go half and half. That's actually just still looks like a man. Wonder if that's because he's angry. Anyway, we've got a king or a queen here, but dictatorship. What's happened is the intellect is ruling the decision making. Now, when intuition comes along and says, yo, it's just a servant, hey, I've got this idea, maybe we should go and, you love animals and you want to be successful. Why don't you start an animal product business? The intellect's like, shut up, and then puts the intuition in jail. Complete rule here, complete control, no say from the intuition. The servant, servants, it's pretty obvious, but servant, let's just write it out to keep this diagram looking cool. Servant is playing the role of intuition. This is not what we want. We want our intuition to be running the show, to be sitting on the throne of your decision making and behavior. So what we need to do is this. Boom, boom, boom. So we want the intuition to be the king or queen, and we want the intellect to be the servant. Now, have you guys seen Mr. Deeds, the movie, where you've got Adam Sandler that's just realized he's inherited all this money, and there's this shifty servant that's what's not servants? What's the name? It's like a maid servant, assistant, whatever. This guy's like the house cleaner, and he comes in and he's like very, very sneaky. Now, if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. He's like very, very sneaky, and then he's got this frostbite on his foot. Adam Sandler's smashing this guy with the fireplace pick on his foot, and then he screams. He enjoys his job, right? He's a happy servant, okay? The thing is, the dictator is all about containment and control. Containment. Whereas the king and the queen, or the queen, what they want is freedom. They want freedom for everyone, for the lands. They're still in control, but they have more of a duty of care for it. So what we want to do is we want to make the intuition on the decision making, and we want to put the servant to work. We want to have the servant, the intellect, actually support the decision making power that the king or the queen, the intuition, is making. So we actually allow ourselves to go, where do I feel excited? This is the formula. Let's just nail this out here. Excited and scared. Because excited and scared is intuition. That's what it is. Now, the intellect is way willing to sacrifice that excitement to get rid of this part, the scared part. Because being scared is part of the nervous system. This is still part of us. We still want them to be involved. But the intellect literally is fear-based. It's trying to keep us alive. It's a survival mechanism. So we're always going to be scared when we're going into the unknown. When we're ever going into the unknown, that's where we grow. That's what the intuition wants. It's growth-based, not control-based, growth-based. It's the opposite of control, because every time you step into the unknown and you do something that's new, you lose control because you don't know what you're doing. You're doing it for the first time. You're never in control. So you do play a sport for the next time. You're not in control. You don't know what you're going to do with that ball if you're playing golf for the first time. You're out of control. If you're starting a new business, you don't know what you're doing. If you're doing a new project on a topic you've never researched, you're out of your depth. And that's where intuition comes in. It is growth. It is the new. Whenever you procrastinate, you don't procrastinate on something that you just know how to nail, that excites you and scares you. You procrastinate on things that you have no control. This is the intuition, and this is the solution. What excites and scares you, the apex point between these two things is your intuition. And so that's the solution here. Actually understanding. This is what we need to do. See, the dictatorship is based on ignorance. When you're ignorant of the fact that the intellect's in control, you don't even know. No one knows what's going on when Hitler gets into power. It's just all of a sudden there. But there's no awareness. There's complete ignorance that the intellect's running the show. You guys probably didn't even think about this. I didn't until I learned about this This is just a whole new concept. And when you don't realize that why you're paralyzed and stuck and overanalyzing, when you don't realize that it's because your intellect's trying to keep you safe, you've got no ability. You can't intercept in a world that you cannot see. Like if there's something that's a predefined pattern, it's got complete control over your life. So with ignorance, you've got a problem. What we want to do is we want to create awareness, which we just did, by the way. But it's an ongoing game, because tomorrow when there's something that you need to do and you're procrastinating on, if you don't remember this concept, you can't intervene in a world you cannot see. You can't choose what scares you and excites you, that is intuitive, that's going to have you grow, that's going to take you to fulfillment. You can't do that if you're not even aware that the intellect, the dictator, is running the show, completely in control, calling all the shots of your life, because it's trying to have you avoiding doing anything that you haven't done before, which is everything that's going to give you what you want, because it's trying to keep you safe. Old hardware, biology, our nervous system, again, is designed for when we're in the wild. We're not in the wild now. Newsflash. It's not relevant anymore. Sorry, mate. What we need to do is we want to move from ignorance to awareness. And that's going to dethrone the dictator. The dictator's not going to be happy about that initially. But when we start allowing this person to see that they're in the wrong job, and we align them to a job that might societally seem a little bit less exciting, and we get Jeeves over here as the servant to get pumped to do their job and support in the vision, because the visionary, the king or the queen visionary of what's coming next in the world, what's exciting you with your dream, the intellect then gets to play a part. It gets to actually put the intelligence, the analysis to work. It gets to put the conceptualizing and strategic mind to work, but the king or the queen, the intuition, makes the decisions for the land. When you know what you want to do next and you want to start a business, that's the call that's made, not the fear-based thing that's just trying to keep you safe. We're not interested in being safe. You don't have to keep yourself safe in a world that's safe. That's already candled. It's old technology. We go for growth here. And if you're watching this video and you're a part of this channel, if you haven't subscribed yet, click the subscribe button. If you resonate with this video, click the like. It'll help the YouTube algorithm push us out there. But this whole channel is about growth. You care about growth. You want to live your best life. And that's why intuition is powerful. It sounded fluffy before we understood that it actually wants you to do the shit that's hardest to do. That's its goal. Growth, new, unknown, in a way that's aligned with you, scared but also excited, aligned discomfort. It's going to create growth. So what you need to do here is we need intuition. This is the whole summary here. We want intuition to be on the throne, of your decision making. It can only do that if, there needs to be an S here, just put a little one in. We can only do this if you understand this, because then instead of being a victim of it and being held captive by the dictator, you're aware. It loses its power with awareness. Ignorance, it's still in charge. We move over to awareness, boom. You can go, oh, I know why I'm feeling so bloody tight, because I'm trying to control, because I'm about to do something I've never done before. Then you go, oh, that makes sense. Of course I'm nervous. My nervous system is meant to look out for danger, which is, it thinks is anything it's never been done before. Of course. Then you go, and now I'm going to choose to put intuition on the throne of my decision making, and I'm going to allow the intellect to comfort the ride, comfort the smaller part of myself that's more scared and fragile, comfort that person, indoctrinate them to the vision of your life, which is what excites you, and take them on for the ride. And you put them to work. Use the strategic part of your mind to get shit done intelligently. Follow the steps, reverse engineer the modeling of what's worked in the past, but don't allow the servant to have a call in this. Just like the dictator didn't allow the intuition to have calls before, the intellect doesn't have a say, because it's got a avoided old school view. It's not helpful. It's kind of like your parents trying to give you a perspective on running Google ads. They don't know what's up. The intellect doesn't know what's going to happen moving forward, and it just freaks him out. So we just mollycoddle them, ask them for their support to get shit done, and then we allow the king, the queen, the mature one that wants growth, that cares about expansion, that wants to follow their dreams. They're the ones that are calling the shots. So my question to you is, What was the biggest takeaway you had from all of this? What stood out from you? If you got value from this, click the like button. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, click the subscribe button. Come on the journey with me so we can go on that journey of growth. You can check out my future videos and I'll see you in there.